Hey guys, Comics G-Man here. I haven't watched this guy in like years, like maybe 7 years or so, but I just saw this recommended when I was watching the As video before, and I am just a bit curious about it. I just watched a little bit of it. He takes a while to get to the point, so I'm gonna skip the beginning because he just goes over the basic things that we already know about the box office financial failure. And then he just goes over like how Superman 25 was a financial failure, which, whatever. But I want to just see what he means when he says, how does the DCU come back from this? I'm just curious to see what he says about that. So let's see what he says.
Therefore, it is a flop. That is the definition of a film that has flopped at the box office. So the DCU began with a commercial failure. And now it's had an even bigger commercial failure with Supergirl. There's no way anyone can spin Supergirl as some kind of success. Not even remotely. So what's next for the DCU? Well, later this year, as you're probably aware, is Clayface. Clayface is the next DCU film, and there's been a trailer released for this film already.
I honestly think Clayface is going to be interesting. I'm not actually down on that. I have a feeling it's going to be interesting.
Who is Clayface? I didn't know who it was before the trailer came out. I'm not a reader of comic books, and what I would...
Wait, how the fuck do you not know who Clayface is? I mean, how do you not know? I've seen this guy talk about Batman stuff like years ago.
Say to people is, these films do have to stand independently of the actual comic books. Because most of the people going to see these films, most of the general audience, so I count myself among them, are not familiar with the source material of the comic books. And quite honestly, you shouldn't have to be familiar with the comic books in order to appreciate the films on their own. The same.
No, I mean, I agree with what he's saying, but at the same time, though, that's not really a great criticism because, I mean, who else? Yeah, I know you're trying to get in like a general audience to get more money, but at the same time, like, they didn't put that much money in Clayface. So it's like, who else are they making comic book movies for other than just the comic book fans? I mean, like, yeah, a lot of it is inspired by the comic book fans. It should be. And then it could bring in other people. But, like, I don't know if I really agree with that. Like, okay, so just because general audiences doesn't know who a certain character is, it's not worth trying out. You know what I mean? I don't know if I really agree with that. I get what he's saying, but I'm saying me personally, I don't think I really agree with that. Because then otherwise it's like we just get Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman forever and ever and ever, and we never try out, like, different little characters here and there that might, be interesting. That's just how I feel.
Same is true for television shows. Well, Clayface is, I would say, a relatively unknown Batman villain to most people. Known, of course, to fans of the comics, but not known to general audiences.
I don't know if I believe that. I really don't know if I believe that because, okay, say I feel like a lot of people who didn't even read the comics and stuff or like, they at least would know Clayface from, like, the Arkham games. Like, there are other ways that they would know about Clayface. I feel like people know him. Like, not every general person in the audience, but I got a feeling, like, a good amount of people know who Clayface is, like, from the video games and stuff. I don't know if I'm really buying this argument here.
Not something that can be disputed. And so why make a film about a relatively unknown Batman villain?
Well, first of all, though, we all know that this wasn't James Gunn's idea. This was actually originally, I think, Matt Reeves's idea, and it was supposed to be. I don't know if it still is. It sounds like it's up in the air right now. But the Clayface movie was supposed to be connected to the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson movie. So that's why it's, like, very dark, very, like, it's supposed to be connected to that world of Matt Reeves's vision. So, like, that's kind of why, dude. Like, I just... it's not just because somebody pulled it out of their ass. It's Matt Reeves obviously has some kind of vision. But who knows if James Gunn changed it a lot by now. We'll see.
Or a lower level Batman film. Joker, I get. There's a Penguin TV series, that I get. Why would you make a film about Clayface and not Batman? at this point. I mean, surely...
I agree with this. I even made this criticism, like, we should have had a Batman movie already, and then if you want Clayface, like, then have Clayface, right? Like, I agree with that, dude. Clayface should be, like, an after effect, you know, after the second Batman Matt Reeves movie or something, because, I mean, it's been too long since the first Batman Reeves movie. That was 22, right? It's been a long time.
When you're launching a new franchise, you'd want to focus on making films with your big guns first, your well-known superheroes first. So your Supermans, that's done, Batman, Wonder Woman. But instead, with the DCU, we've had a Peacemaker TV series, Supergirl, who, you know, has had a TV series of her own. There's been a Supergirl film in the 1980s, but she doesn't have the kind of draw of, say, Wonder Woman. The Supergirl film from 1984 was not successful at the box office either. But at least Wonder Woman, as a character, has had one box office hit to her name, albeit in the DCEU. And so later this year, next up we're going to have Clayface. Clayface is an interesting choice, but of course you have to keep in mind that they were considering doing a film about the Authority. The Authority, now that is...
Yeah, I actually never read any Authority comics by Mark Millar, so I have no opinions on that.
Quite niche. Thankfully, that was scrapped. I don't think that would have worked particularly well. But yeah, the new Wonder Woman film, which is apparently due out in 2028. I think that's the...
Too long. They're taking too long to make these movies. They're taking too long. I don't know. It feels like there should be like more movies, but they're not cranking them out enough. So like when the bad movie like Supergirl comes out, like it's really a big deal because there's not enough of more different things that you could go to and feel like, well, all right, I didn't like that, but at least I feel good about this right now. You know what I mean?
The earliest that I've heard. It's to be written by the same writer as Supergirl.
Yeah, that's
Anna
bad.
Nagara.
That's bad. That is still bad news. That is such bad news for Wonder Woman.
That's the current plan. And the writing for Supergirl was really bad. That was a really...
Oh, that's being nice. No, it was atrocious. Horrible. Poorly
written film. So, with the exception of 2022's The Batman, which did very well and generated over...
My only complaint about the Batman 22, actually, I did not like this version of the Riddler. I think it was like too much like a... I don't know, like a mix of the Joker, and it didn't feel like the Riddler to me. You want to talk about the Riddler? I love the Riddler in Gotham and the Penguin in Gotham. But the one thing I did love that came out of this movie was Colin Farrell's Penguin, which was an amazing show. Amazing.
$772 million at the box office. It's been a challenging time for DC comic book superhero films. And of course, the Batman was... The Matt Reeves Batman was totally separate from the DCU. I'm not sure why we're having these different universes happening at the same time, but there you are. It's confusing, I would say, to general audiences. I don't think success for DC on film should be contingent on matching Disney Marvel's MCU.
I agree 100% with that.
Think that should be what success looks like, because I think it's too big an ask. I don't think the MCU, that's lightning that was trapped in a bottle once. I don't think anyone's going to do something like that again.
No, right. I agree with that 100%.
A very highly successful cultural phenomenon, a big movie juggernaut. I don't think that's going to be replicated anytime soon. And I don't think it's an absolute necessity to build a cinematic universe across multiple films anyway. Not everything needs to be this huge, joined-up, interconnected franchise.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I think they should just focus on the single stories for now. And that's it. You know, we don't need the big universe stuff anymore. We really don't. As fun as it might be, but he's right.
What success should look like is simply making one good film at a time. With no other expectations that it's going to lead into this, big
All right, I think we get the point here. I agreed with some of his points and disagreed, but I wouldn't watch his stuff again. He's okay, he's good, you know. But Az is better. I like the way Az does things, and Yellow Flash is a little more interesting. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts and comments in here. Like and subscribe.